Performance is all relative to the market you are in. Hello, my name is Austin Whitaker. I'm the owner and founder of Enrich Revenue Management. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about how to evaluate a successful short-term rental and its revenue outcomes, and especially comparing it year to year and understanding the performance. And so the example I like to give is if you have revenue growth of, let's say, 10% year over year for that a particular month, that sounds amazing. But what if the market increased by 20%? This is a huge issue, right? That actually shows that we decreased our market performance. Let's say your revenue decreased by 10%, but the market decreased by 20%. That is you limiting damage. That is not necessarily the most ideal outcome, but that is a much better outcome than it appears on the surface by just looking at revenue totals. And so everything has context. But one thing that is really hard to tell, especially on the surface, is understanding how did I do compared to last year in each market. And I'll give you an example right here. So that we have a particular listing here. We just wrapped up June. And so we have June of last year and June of this year to compare to. And there's two metrics I care a lot about. It is your revenue compared to market or in your occupancy compared to market. Your revenue compared to market, in essence, is going to be your RevPAR Index. It is incredibly valuable for reporting. It tells us if we have ideal outcomes or not. Your market penetration index shows you your occupancy compared to market. So this gives us context to understand how we made our money. And you see we did 27% above average for this market during this time. You see here our occupancy was 93%. The market occupancy this year was 73%. Last year was 70%. That was an increase of 3.4% year over year. That being said, let's take a look at that revenue outcome from last year. And so I'm going to pull up the same statistics. This is 2025, and this is before we were managing this property. This property RevPAR Index, which is, again, revenue compared to market, 127%, and your market penetration index, 123%. So this is telling me that we rented slightly more compared to market, but we priced much more accurately and had much better outcomes in revenue because of this. And so we got better pricing and overall better revenue outcomes compared to the year prior. And that is because we were better timed in our pricing. That is not the end of the story, but this is a good place that we start. This is something that we report on during our monthly reports, and we explain this to our clients as well. But again, this is a pretty ideal outcome. We saw a RevPAR Index growth, in essence, a revenue market performance growth of about 25%. What is nice about these metrics is that they will standardize your performance for that market, so you can much more accurately compare year over year statistics. So thank you so much for time. And if you have any interest in a revenue analysis free of charge, feel free to book a time with me and we can walk through these things together. Thank you.